What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse ranch, no hate. Now, a little bit more about Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight. It is an organization that Mike Tyson himself is starting, and it's called Legends Only. Um, he's teaming up with a company called Triller, and we know that that fight is September 12th. Now, what we don't know, there's some things that we don't know. One of the things is this going to be a thing of divisions? You know, as of now, how he's speaking, they don't have an actual roster. So I think initially he feels like him and Roy Jones, their two names alone, will be able to set this thing off and, get a lot of attention to it. Roy Jones finished his career as a cruiserweight, had one heavyweight fight, and went back down to light heavyweight. So I did, wonder, like, why of all people did Mike Tyson choose Roy Jones as an opponent? Now, according to Roy Jones said Mike Tyson reached out to him and said the reason he chose him because he felt like it would be easy to make a deal with Roy Jones. Shannon Briggs is a bit salty towards Mike Tyson because he said he felt like he should have chose him instead of Roy. Um, I just, because of the fact Roy's not a heavyweight, and I don't know what Roy walks around, his walk around weight. I think it would help Roy though to gain at least come in 205, something like that. I don't know what Roy weight is again right now, but you know we got one more month, then we're going September, and September 12th is early September, so we don't know. We'll see. Um, of course, Mike is a showman. He's telling everybody he's faster, stronger, better than ever, and more focused and all. And he's 54. We know this is not 21-year-old Mike again. Roy Jones, they're both past their prime. Um, Now, as far as who people pick to win, the majority of people are going to pick Mike Tyson, not to just win, but to steamroll through Roy. That's what they're going to pick. Now, personally, between the two, I like both of them. I like Roy Jones better. Now, do I think he can actually win? It all depends on some things, and I don't disagree with anybody that think he's going to steamroll through Roy. It's all opinions anyway. But to break the two of them down, for one, looking at Roy Jones, he won his last four fights. His last fight was in 2018. Mike hasn't been in the ring in years, man. His last time Mike was in the ring fighting competitively, he was 38. He's 54 now. So the things that I see between the two of them, for one, we know that it's like all Mike has to do is land one big one, and pretty much, I mean, he still has that kind of, he still has power. He doesn't have to hit as hard as he did when he was younger, but he still, you can see just in his demonstrations that he still has power. So, um, definitely hits harder than anybody that's knocked Roy out, and I can understand why people think he's going to stay and roll through Roy. Um, I mean, Mike should win, but even with that power and speed that Mike still has, the thing we have to, think about is how long can Mike sustain that? How long can Roy Jones avoid getting hit by a big shot? Roy's not going to be able to just move, 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 move. He's going to have to move, throw those pot shots, throw those 1-2s, stay off the ropes. He goes against the ropes. In fact, if you look at the knockouts that happened with Roy, um, after the Antonio Tarver situation, I'm talking about after Roy got up in age and was losing to journeyman and beating journeyman, it pretty much happened when he was on the ropes. And once Mike pinned you to the ropes, that's when Mike really wants to go to work on you. So, you neither one of them had the same mobility. I know everybody's looking at the hand speed and the power, but if you look at even the last videos that Mike made with his footwork, if you look, he's no longer sliding over, he's hopping over. The same with Roy. When Roy moves back, Roy is stationary now. Roy has bad knees. You've been in the gym long enough, you've been around fighters with injuries and ailments, like it's not his ankles. You can see how when he, at first, I couldn't tell, but if you look at Roy, when he moved, Roy is a guy that had, he kind of slid around, made it look easy. Mike had that, you know how Mike would throw his shots, you know, jab, slip, slip, jab, jab, slip, slip, hook, hook, and then slide over, right? Now he's hopping over. Um, but Roy, you know, definitely has bad knees. You could see it in his step, how he moved. He doesn't have that spring. You understand what I mean? And from his lower body, it's like Roy was known to be elusive. He could move, get in, get out. You know, Roy never was known to do the James Toney, you know, Mayweather type thing, slide, you know, rolling the shoulder, slide over, get under. One thing that I don't like that I see Roy do a lot of is when you throwing punches at Roy, Roy will slip, slip, move, but he literally turns his head. Literally closes his eyes and turns his head. And that against Mike, you know, you don't want to see that. Now it's 8 round fight. It changes everything that we heard initially. Initially, it was supposed to be um, a exhibition for charity. Now, from day one, it was never about Mike Tyson versus Holyfield. That was the perception that everybody got from watching the videos, and then started making these stories up. And the fact that they had 2 fights already, they're thinking this is going to be the third one. Okay, it might possibly happen. But Mike was talking about 4 round exhibitions. Holyfield was talking about 3 round exhibitions. Um, so we have to see. But this changes everything for this reason. This is going from that to being an actual league. Now, initially, Mike was offered to fight against, you know, Bob Sapp, you know, the big 300+ pound guy that loses to everybody, slash actor. Um, then it went from him to Wanderlei Silva, from Wanderlei Silva to Tito Ortiz. So Mike came up with this idea. Now he said it's not going to be just, excuse me, man, he's Natsu. So he said it's not going to be just boxers. He said there'll be MMA guys. You know, he's trying to get athletes in general. So, you know, like a lot of these guys have things to say to each other on Twitter and all this other stuff. So he's like, hey, if you got the heart, you got the courage, determination, you can pass your physicals, why not? Come let make it happen, right? So he even mentioned like Dennis Rodman, just certain people, you know, who wouldn't want to see Dennis Rodman versus, I forget the guy names he said, but um, it sounds like it's something that's geared towards fun. Um, will there be title belts? Like I said, will there be divisions? You know, different weight classes. Something has to be. It has to be some type of reward, man, for this thing to make sense and last. Otherwise, it could be a downfall of okay, we got Mike, we got Roy. Um, Now what? You know what I'm saying? So like for reason, whatever reasons and thought, you know, that thought process that went into this, it has to make something has to be, you know, it has to be a goal, not to just have random fights, because I don't think that's going to work. Um, and I know this guy Jake Paul is announced to be on the card. I don't remember who his opponent's supposed to be, but I mean, basically, and understand for it to be guys that's up in age as well, or retired from whatever sport they would, you know, whether it was basketball, football, baseball, whatever. That's all good. But you got to look at guys like Mike Holyfield, who are already, you know, Mike's 54, Holyfield's 58, you know, Roy's 51. So at some point, um, you know, they're not going to be just the backbone. They might have behind the scene roles and pushing this thing. Who knows? You know, Antonio Tarver went in his bag and said, he said Mike is running from Holyfield and that Roy is running from him. So Antonio Tarver's trying to put his, you know, he's trying to get his name in there. So we probably will see Antonio Tarver versus someone, you know. Now we know he finished his career as a heavyweight. So there's some things that we do know and some things that we don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be weight classes. Is it going to be like a throwback to the original, to the early UFC where it wasn't weight classes? You know, Royce Gracie, Shamrock, and all these guys with different weight classes. I don't think, you know, whatever they come up with is what they come up with. But I think it would be better suited if you had weight classes. You know, because you have a lot of people that, at least me, the people I'm thinking about who might possibly be interested in something like this. And if that's the case, you know, realistically, you don't want to see, like, suppose Miguel Cotto, you know, he's retired. Suppose he decide he wants to come in. Do you want to see Miguel Cotto try to fight Vladimir Klitschko? If he decided to come back, you know, that would be kind of stupid to me. So, you know, the details that we don't have right now, got to stay tuned for. Also, on something else, I know by now that, you know, we know brother Nazim Richards, you know, he passed away, you know, rest in power. You know, Peace and love to his family, people close to him. You know, he managed a lot of fighters. Probably the most popular would be Shane Mosley and Bernard Hopkins. But yeah, yeah, it's never easy when you lose people. And I don't know him personally, obviously, but it's a life that was lost, man. I'm not gonna get deep into that now. I don't like talking about murder and death, and But anyway, at the end of the day, as far as Mike and Roy, we know that September 12th. We don't know about who all is going to be on there. Like I said, Jake Paul's name is on there. I don't know who he's fighting, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure more information will come out as the time goes on. People like who you think gonna win. Like I said earlier, of course, more than likely, most people think that Mike is gonna win. And like I said, Roy, look, we know Roy don't take a punch the way he used to. Um, but also, Mike Tyson, we've seen him get steamrolled by two journeymen, but we, overlooked that for some reason. Um, the one thing that Mike has going for him as well is since the retirement, his body had a lot of time to recuperate. For Roy Jones, it's just been, almost 2 years. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, man, I'm not here to debate with people about who they think is going to win. Everybody has their opinion, and like I said, I could understand why people think that Roy is going to lose. But like I said, for Roy to win, and this is all I'm going to say, okay? For Roy to win, all I'm going to do is breaking down what they have to do. I don't care about. I'm not here to suit the ego of, oh yeah, see another one for Mike or another one for Roy. Like I said, Mike Tyson definitely is the favorite, and I understand why anybody would feel like that. And again, for Roy to win, he was going to have to be able to be elusive enough to where he's not letting Mike land the big shots, but he's catching Mike. That doesn't mean stand there and they just trade with each other. No, it means for Roy, smart boxing, pot shot, jab right hand, get out the way, tie Mike up when he needs to, get out, stay off the ropes, always moving. Mike starts to get tired. Mike starts to, his hands is dropping a little. He's not as fast. He's coming. That's when Roy got to start. And the same thing, jab right hand. Pot shot here, pot shot here. You know what I mean? The conditioning, if he's able to avoid big shots and he can sustain his power and speed, because between the two of them, Mike is going to definitely be coming forward, not Roy. Roy is going to be on the back foot, or he'll be right in front of him. We know Mike. Mike comes across the ring fast, starts throwing bombs. That's what we expect out of Mike. And, Roy is not nearly as elusive as he used to be. It's like an uphill battle for Roy. I think this is just common sense if you look at that, because like I said, Roy, he can't move like he used to. And his knees, I think I'm willing to bet anybody Roy Jones has bad knees. It's not his ankle. And I've seen many training videos of Roy. Roy is not wearing anything around his hamstring or his ankles. He's not necessarily wearing anything around his knees, but his movement and looking at what he used to do and how easily he used to slide in and out. Now he has to hop to do everything. That's usually it's the knees. So if Roy can't be elusive enough to make Mike throw his loads, and then because we know Mike has always had the stamina issue. That issue has always been there. Like if you make him work. If Mike dictate the pace of a fight, yeah, he can go to 12 rounds because he's the one dictating the pace. He's moving. You're not giving him nothing to really worry about. But overall, at this age, what people need to understand, because the fights are scheduled for 8 rounds, doesn't mean that he can go to 8 rounds. And especially trying to throw bombs, and he's not going to outbox Roy Jones. He'll either knock him out, whether he punish him, or whether it's early or whether it's however. But as far as him just outboxing Roy, nah. Because if Roy is taking shots, I can't see Roy taking too many big shots from Mike. So, of course, Mike looks like the dominant guy. Anybody thinks that he's going to win. Personally, like I said, if I got to choose between the two, who I want to win, Roy. But, and I feel Roy has the IQ to know how to beat Mike, but can he actually beat him? You understand what I'm saying? And anyway, It's not up for debate for me, man. Like I said, I'm not into all of that, but Mike looked like the favorite, man. You know, he looks like the favorite. Shannon Briggs says something. It's kind of disrespectful though. He said that Roy Jones is just a tune-up for Mike, so they'll get that fight out the way, and then Mike will get to him. Brownsville versus Brownsville. It's like, come on, Shannon, don't shoot down the event, man. That's how you make it sound, saying that. Like, you know, you can't. It's not about me making your mind up for you or Shannon or anybody making your mind up for you, but let's just celebrate the event, man. And me personally, that's what I'm going to do, and just hope that it's a good event, and that is something enjoyable to watch. That's what I'm hoping. Okay. Should he steamroll through Roy? Nobody's going to be surprised. If he didn't, and it went 8 rounds, most people will say he held back. That's the only way Roy could survive. That's, you know, so I don't want to start throwing shade and negativity toward the event. Let's just have the event. We can make our minds up about what we think happened after the event. But yeah, it's an uphill battle for Roy for several reasons. But at the same time, if Roy was to be able to just pull this off, because, like I said, if Mike is not landing the big shots and Mike starts to tank and Roy starts to take over, hey. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.